Could you tell us what you learned from those meetings around the NFL and the Bears? Anything that stood out most?
Yeah, I mean, when we get to talk with Matt Eberflus, with Kevin Warren, with Ryan Poles, just about the direction that this team is going after the trade of the number 1 overall pick and after free agency, it's a little bit more of the same in terms of the methodical approach and realizing that you can't fill every void on this roster in one off season. But the doubling down on the commitment to Justin Fields, I think is, probably the forefront of where this team is, and realizing that if you don't build around him, you're probably not going to have success. And that's pretty apparent just with what they did with DJ Moore. And I think we really learned about that from Matt Eberflus during the coaches breakfast. I believe it was Tuesday this week, because, when he was asked about, like, do you envision everything, when you traded the pick, does that mean that you believe that the passing game struggles were more because of what's around Fields more than just like Fields himself? We talk about him holding on to the ball too long. And I think that Eberflus's answer was kind of revealing that, yes, they do know. They're never going to say, yeah, we were a talent deficient team last year. We hung him out there to dry. And now you have to undo that. Now you have to put pieces around him, because they would have moved on. If they really didn't think that Justin Fields could be a better quarterback and reach his potential with resources and the investments around him, they would have probably not traded the number 1 overall pick and taken a quarterback and started over. That was 2 scenarios there for them: keep Fields or go get another quarterback. And we never felt like there was real tangibility behind them going to draft, whether it's CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, whatever, because Fields showed them enough to know, hey, if you put the right pieces around him next year, things could look very different. And that's the approach that, now that the dust has settled and you hear from Matt Eberflus about, where they are in this process, they're comfortable with their choice. And I think that for the Bears, it's a good spot to be in. And then on top of that, the one thing I thought from Kevin Warren was really interesting is that for a 3-14 team coming off, that season, there's more excitement than he's ever been around for a group that had a very bad losing season, the worst in the NFL. So it'll be interesting to see what that does to move this thing forward and how they can hit on their draft picks and what this roster looks like a month from now.
If I said commissioner walks up, it says, with the 9th pick, the Chicago Bears select Bijan Robinson, running back, Texas, what would your reaction be?
He's the best running back in the draft. We know that. I would be shocked, because I think that they would trade out of that spot before drafting Bijan Robinson. And it's not to say that the backfield is solved by any stretch with Deontay Foreman, Khalil Herbert, and some of the other pieces that they have in there, Treston Ebner, Darrington Evans, if they bring him back. You can still go get a complementary piece in the draft in one of the later rounds. Bijan Robinson is a terrific player, and he probably will be available to them at 9. I just can't see them spending draft capital like that, even if it is best player available. Remember, Ryan Poles said there were 6 or 7 players that they evaluated would be worthy of their number 1 overall pick when they were deciding to trade back to number 9. And we asked him about that again. Like, do you still see that many players that are there for you at 9? And they are comfortable with their options right now. I just don't know, when you think about how many holes they have to fill, having a sturdy running game is probably more of a priority than going all in and getting the best rusher in the draft right now, when you can fill that need somewhere else.
Okay, we only got like 30 seconds. I just got to ask you this. People will give up DJ Moore, this year's 1, next year's 1, another 2 for a guy they don't know if he's going to make it. We got a guy who won the league MVP, and they don't want to give up 2 number 1 picks. I don't understand it.
That's a lot of draft capital to give up for somebody who's missed 40% of games the last 3 years due to injury. Just saying.
Got it.
Courtney, as always, we appreciate it. Have a great weekend.